What's up, guys? It is Corey from SuperKamiGuru9000, and here's my review of Bleach, Chapter 533. The story of how Ishan and Masaki met is still continuing in this story. And again, like the other ones that were happening, I'm still starting to enjoy this one a lot. This one concludes the battle that was happening last week, where you get to see Masaki was fighting against that mysterious hollow, and we get to see the repercussions of that battle. And she attacked it at point-blank range and hit it right in the head, and you get to see that there's a giant explosion coming out of his back. And all of a sudden, the hollow starts to become unstable, and there's a huge explosion in the city, and you can actually see they pan out. It looks really, really cool. And you actually get to see when they go back to their labs and everything that Kaname is really, really pissed about all of this. He didn't expect anything like this to happen. He was hoping that their hollowified Shinigami plan would work, and he thinks that something's going wrong here, but Aizen's looking on the upside of it all, and he's like, look, this is a great opportunity to discover something even more, something that's even possibly farther beyond the concept of which we're trying to create. And of course, Aizen's always optimistic about this, and we get to see why, obviously, ultimately in the future. And maybe this will play into some stuff that's going to be happening a little bit later. After that, we get some character moments from our main two this week. We get Masaki. We get to see her hanging out in school and hanging out with her school friends. We also get to see Ishan going back to Soul Society and having to, report to Captain Yamamoto. He was the captain at the time, and he was basically explaining, yep, I went into town, I found this crazy, crazy hollow, some shit went down, and it blew up. That's the end of the story. He's not mentioning meeting Masaki, and this was a pretty crucial part of the chapter, because this is the very first time that they've ever met each other. And obviously, it went in a very interesting way. Ishan was just very happy to be saved. And he was very surprised, and so was Masaki, because they'd never met each other before. They'd never met another Shinigami or Quincy before. And they're both very, very nice to each other. They're both very polite. And you can already starting to see a little bit of a relationship blooming between the two, even though they don't even know each other's names. And we actually get to see that Ryu is actually watching from a distance with Katagiri. You can see that Katagiri herself is visibly upset by this. And Ryu seems to be okay with this, because obviously he wants happiness from Masaki. But really the thing that I think that's going to be pretty interesting about this week's chapter is at the end you get to see Masaki just sort of walking around with some of her school friends, and there's some pretty funny dialogue that definitely pertains to Ryu. I'll let you guys check that out. It's pretty funny. But she does bump into a very familiar character at the end who seems to be pretty awestruck by her, and that is Urahara. And I'm not quite sure what his intentions are here. Maybe he can notice that she has some, like, hollow energy coming off of her from the battle. Maybe he could notice that she has some Quincy energy. All I know is that Urahara knows something really important is going down, and I'm not quite sure how to take those final panels from this week's chapter. What I can say is that I'm finally glad that we're going to get to the point where we get to see that Masaki and Ishan are finally going to start to get to know each other, and hopefully this will develop into something big. We know it will, but I can't wait to see how that's going to happen. Ironically, this is the type of stuff that I don't usually care for in manga, and it almost seems like this is the shoujo version of Bleach that we got this week. But, like I said before, this is a flashback of stuff that we've never actually seen before, so it's still new in a way, and I really appreciate that. Masaki is a character who's really growing on me heavily. Considering we didn't really know much about her in the past, she's turning out to be a very interesting character. And Ishan is just proving again that he's one of the coolest guys in the series, and why he's definitely one of, I think, the most role model-like characters I've seen in the show so far. But still, there was a minor bit of action at the beginning with all the explosion and the hollow and stuff, so that was really fun to watch. But this week was all about Masaki and Ishan, because you need a little character development every once in a while. And I think the action in Bleach has been pretty good right now, so there's been a pretty decent balance of all of that. So I don't know how much longer this flashback is going to go on, but really, I don't really have any complaints right now. I'd kind of like it to go on a little bit further, even though I'd like to see what's going on with Ichigo and his training right now. I'm still pretty interested to see what's going to happen in the past, especially because there's a lot of things that I know a lot of people have already brought up, like the fact that if Masaki is so powerful, how come she was supposedly killed by Grand Fisher, who is nothing more than just kind of a regular hollow, and she was able to take out this sort of weird, freaky Aizen experiment in literally one hit? But I'm sure there's a bigger explanation to that. There might even be a huge twist about that, which I think would be pretty interesting, and maybe it might be a little predictable in that sense. But still, I can't wait to see what's going to happen, because they're going to have to tie it into the beginning of the story again, and I can't wait to see when it's going to get to that point. So, for me, this was a pretty great chapter of Bleach. There was a lot of really good character artwork from Kubo this week. Masaki is as adorable and cute as ever. She's a very pretty character. For me personally, it wasn't a perfect chapter, but it was damn near there, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. You know, I'm usually an action junkie, and this usually isn't the type of chapter I enjoy, but I found myself really liking this one this week, so 9 out of 10, there it is. So how did you guys feel about this week's chapter of Bleach? You can let me know with your comments below. Guys, as always, if you like this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. It really helps these videos out a lot. That concludes this video today. SuperKamiGuru9000, out.